today we have a video by Goblin But Real, and it is called Sentinels Are Terrifying, featuring Chicken. Yeah. Do I have to call the Sentinels again?
Yo, chill out.
Go ahead.
Chill
go
out.
ahead and put them down.
Chill out.
Go ahead and put them down.
I can't.
Tinky.
They're part of me. This is who I am. Wait, I can try.
Tinky's this, Tinky's that, Tinky's me, bro.
Hold on, I just gotta. It's really hard to get them back in because it really hurt. Ah! 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 God! It's ripping my skin! Ah!
You good?
Yeah, it's just.
Okay,
it's really
all right.
painful.
Rate the beating, 1 through 10.
What?
You beat with the claws out or no?
My shit got cut off a while ago.
Damn. So like it's halving your shit, or like you down to like a nub at this point?
No, I'm down to nothing.
Shit. Oh, you got a coochie.
It doesn't really help that after it happened, I kind of also tried it with this and it didn't work.
When you try to fish yourself? All right, let's get into the.
Sentinels are terrifying.
Let's get it.
Let's go.
If there's one thing I hope you get from my videos, it's not the importance of comics, appreciating the complexity of the X-Men, or even basic knowledge of them. No. It's that giant robots.
Wait, what the? It's one thing I'm getting from this video is that Cyclops is a player.
Hey, man.
He
like
kissing and hugging on 2 different girls. He with Jean,
Of the X-Men, or even.
and then he got Emma Frost on it. Oh my
That
God,
man like
Cyclops, you a player? Okay.
Real quick. Question.
What?
You saw the new casting for the X-Men, right?
Yeah.
Gambit and Rogue. How's that gonna work?
Who the fuck is playing Gambit?
Oh,
Channing Tatum?
Channing Tatum.
Oh, his ass dying in Doomsday, bro. Lock in. His ass is dying in Doomsday. He already basically.
You got to, bro. You're like 40. You're 50, bro.
Yeah, he
40
already
people.
died in freaking Deadpool and Wolverine. They brought him back to kill him again. Okay, lock in. His ass is dying.
I just needed I needed to know what you thought about that. All right, we can continue.
Yeah, his ass is dying.
Basic knowledge of them. No. It's that giant robots are awesome. Gundam, Zone of the Enders, Getter Robo,
Yeah.
all near and dear to my heart.
Okay.
Though I wish I could sit here.
Hold on. He's gonna mention giant robots are awesome, and he's not even gonna mention Transformers. What the fuck is this? What is this malarkey I'm hearing? What's your favorite giant robot?
I'm gonna have to go B. Bumblebee.
I'm gonna go Gurren Lagann.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Nope.
You haven't seen Gurren Lagann?
Mm-mm.
The drill that can pierce the heavens.
Mm-mm.
Holy anime LARP. Okay, let's just keep going.
Zone of the Enders, Getter Robo, all near and dear to my heart. Though I wish I could sit here today and talk about them, I think a video about the new Hathaway movie would get a collective of 7 views, 3 of which would be me, myself, and I. Though you might ask, why bring all of this up? Well, you know what else has giant robots? The X-Men.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, you guys really like them. So what would be better to talk about today? The Sentinels are one of the most prominent and dangerous foes the X-Men have ever dealt with.
They
I
are.
mean, you remember Genosha. You don't have an entire event titled the Genosha Massacre if you're not at least pretty decent at putting down mutants. And you have to be pretty strong to do that when a lot of them are hormonal carpet bombs waiting to go off.
Yep.
So while I go
Hormonal
cash in
carpet
this
bomb is
check from
hilarious.
today's sponsor,
crazy to
Orcus,
say.
let's talk about the X-Men's greatest foe, the
And-
Sentinels.
It's also crazy that you have robots that can defeat them. Mind you, they have mutants that are universal beings. Like Iceman froze over the entirety of hell. Hell exists
In there.
outside of the universe.
And there's a robot that can beat that.
And there's a robot that can kill him.
Yep.
You have Legion, Professor X's son, who has multiple personality disorder, and every personality has a different power. And a robot beats him. Like you have Jean Grey,
Jean motherfucking Grey.
Magneto,
And a robot. Solos. It's ridiculous.
Like, what are we talking about? What the fuck are we talking about here?
Following the Juggernaut's assault on Charles Xavier would go on a team created by Jack Kirby and Stan Lee. Following the Juggernaut's assault on Charles Xavier would go on a televised debate with outspoken mutant critic and anthropologist Bolivar Trask, who believed that mutants were a threat to humankind and would replace them, which needed to be dealt with as efficiently as possible. Now, during this debate on a live broadcast, I kid you not, pulls out a giant robot on the middle of the stage, which
I swear, the fucking, like, people that live in the Marvel Universe are, like, so fucking funny. They look at Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, Avengers, and they're like, wow, these guys are great. You're awesome heroes. Then look at the X-Men doing the same shit.
Abomination.
Were you born with those powers?
You
Somebody
were
get these
born?
beggars.
Get these damn muties out of here! Frickin' muters!
Mutiggers.
Okay, I can't say that one. That one's crazy. That one's fucking crazy. That one's insane. Yo, that one's insane. Holy shit. I cannot say that shit.
Oh, God.
Woo, that was a good one. Yeah. Yeah. You heard it first. But I just don't understand. Like, they see Spider-Man. Thor was born with his powers. He's a god.
He's a god.
They see all the heroes with their powers, and they see the X-Men. Just the fact that they're like, oh my god, you just saved the hospital of babies from being exploded. Thank you. Oh yeah, no problem. That's just the powers I was born with.
Born.
You were born with that shit? Fuck you. Get out of here. Like,
burn him.
yeah, genuinely. I don't get it.
Jesus Christ.
I don't get it.
broadcast, I kid you not, pulls out a giant robot on the middle of the stage, which, I'm sorry, I find that absolutely hilarious.
Oh!
Imagine during a real-life debate,
That
one of the
just
guys
looks
go,
terrible.
oh, good counterpoint, sir, but have you ever considered I made a robot army made to kill you and your entire species? And fully believed this would make him look like the most sensible person in the room. The Sentinels would quickly turn around and start attacking at random, denouncing humanity and that the Sentinels are the superior beings. Bravo, Trask. Now,
Wow, dude.
while similar to a standard Sentinel, there are stark differences that separate them, starting with their colors. Lacking that standard purple color palette we know them for, they offer the more bold red and blue with the touches of yellow. Though they would resemble their standard appearance in the covers of these issues, so maybe they only look like this way due to printing costs of certain colors, and they were intended to look purple, but that's mainly a theory on my end, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, as we have similar cases in the past. As well, their size isn't this giant imposing figure that most people know them for, rather they're around 7 feet tall, a far cry what we know them for.
6, 7 feet tall.
Alright.
Rather, they're
Thinking-
around 7.
How old are you?
24?
The big 2'4".
What do you mean big 2'4"?
Biggest 2'4".
How old are you?
30. But who made that joke?
Oh.
Huh? Yeah. Lock in, Kay. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
If that was the case, as we have similar cases in the past. As well, their size isn't this giant imposing figure that most people know them for, rather they're around 7 feet tall, a far cry what we know them for.
Sorry.
In terms of defense, they had a metallic shell that protects them from head-on assaults from even the X-Men. Due to their nature of being a robot, Sentinels are impervious to mental attacks. They also have
they're a
rocket-propelled
fucking
boots
robot.
that allow them to fly multiple miles without stopping in the speed comparable to a fighter jet. They have strength comparable to other heroes, being able to lift heavy objects and rays that can break down reinforced walls with relative ease.
Bro became a
even strong
battering
enough
ram.
to defeat the X-Men and capture them, leading to Trask, a human, not a mutant, mind.
Do you know what I don't understand? Magneto does what he does for mutant kind, correct?
Yeah.
X-Men are mutant kind, correct?
Yeah.
These are robots made out of metal, correct?
Oh shit.
Why doesn't he just fucking help them?
Literally.
Why doesn't he just help the
I
X-Men?
didn't even think about that.
Like,
There shall
these
be
would
no
not
mutants.
be a problem if Magneto would just help them.
Doesn't
They
make
are
sense.
robots.
Made out of metal.
So dumb.
defeat the X-Men
So
and
dumb.
capture them, leading to Trask, a human, not a mutant, mind you, come in and blow himself up in the base the Sentinels
Oh.
were stationed at,
Okay.
giving up his life to even save them and the rest of humanity. Sure, he might have made the Sentinels, but look, they were in beta, and they probably killed less than your average data center or a ChatGPT prognosis.
Yep.
And we give that a
Okay.
shit ton of money, so hey, there's a bright side, I think. Now, there are two types of Mark 1s, your standard grunts who, while capable of operating machinery, were quite limited in their thought process outside of directly being controlled.
What the fuck is...
What the- I'm about to. Yeah, these fucking idiots. Oh,
And are the
shit.
other two speaking?
I,
How are you speaking? And you know what I
I've
don't
been
understand
affected
too?
by-
Bro, if it's a
Robot.
robot, like, why do you need to give it a face?
True.
There's no need to give it a
Maybe
fucking
a little bit
face.
more intimidating. Maybe.
By Trask, or the second type, the Master Mold, basically the queen bee of the Sentinels, as it had the ability to command the grunt units and also responsible for the creation of more Sentinels, a less of the on-the-field unit and more of a giant supercomputer working from afar. That doesn't mean it can't square up in a fight if it had to, but it just prefers to be as far away as possible, having the chaff units do the dirty work for it. But after their first appearance and fight, the Sentinel project would soon fall into obscurity on account of the guy behind it, dying. Though what did you know? Giant racist
Oh!
robots
What
could
is
be
he
a
doing?
family business, as
Oh!
soon after Bolivar's death, his
Stretching
son,
it.
Larry, would soon reign over and start the Mark II program.
Hello.
Now by Mark II, the Sentinels began to resemble the one most people know them
Yep,
for.
that's
They
what I know
have
them
their
for.
iconic
Yep.
purple and pink color scheme, and their height towers everyone on the ground immensely more compared to the
Yep.
previous edition. By all intents and purposes, these are the Sentinels that everyone knows and loves. Love might be a strong word. Now, considering the fact that the Mark I went full Terminator mode and wanted all of humanity to kneel to them in less than 5 seconds, mind you, most would question the notion of not
Yeah.
only continuing
Yeah,
this
like,
program,
why would you
but giving them
build
more
this again?
fire.
You know, that's a great question.
Why in
You-
the
most-
fuck would you build this again?
Yep, that's a great, genuine question. You want to know the answer? Dumb motherfuckers in comic books. Just the villains
Yeah.
who are just dumb.
Yeah.
Look at Cyclops, bro. He tried to.
They wanted all of humanity to kneel to them in less than 5 seconds, mind you. Most would question the notion of not only continuing this program, but giving them more firepower. Well, don't you worry. Larry would put it best. It was merely those mutants who made it seem that way. Yep.
Bro.
This is somehow the X-Men's fault.
They
In terms of
love
actual
what?
upgrades, it's really
Hold on.
It's those damn muties' fault.
Yo, there's no way y'all fall for this propaganda. Like,
Unfortunately,
y'all saw it happen in real time.
unfortunately, the human race in the Marvel universe does. They hate
idiots, man.
mutants. They will find
my
any
God.
excuse to just fuck the mutants. Not literally. I mean, like, figuratively.
For
Fuck
sure.
over the mutants. The mutants already do
Mm.
enough fucking in between themselves anyways, so.
Yeah. And
It's a
create
lot
more.
of a lot of in the X-Men. A lot of Cyclops and pretty much every girl. Yep. Wolverine and every girl.
Mr.
Yep.
Bitches. Yeah.
Cyclops and Wolverine. That happened.
I've seen that. I've actually recently seen a comic book strip of that, and I'm like, what the actual fuck?
A lot of fucking between the X-Men.
Okay.
I mean, shit, if the rest of humanity hates you, you might as well just get it on with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Shit, let me
Hey,
join the
gotta get
X-Men.
to
Give me
Roxa.
Emma Frost, Jean Grey, Kitty Pryde, Rogue,
Valid.
Rogue,
Valid.
Rogue, Rogue,
Valid.
Rogue,
Valid.
Rogue,
Valid.
Rogue, 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 Gambit, Rogue, 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 Rogue. Wait,
Hold on.
What?
Hold on.
I said Rogue.
There was some in between them rogues that we.
No, there wasn't.
You,
What are you talking about?
you sure?
Mystique. Mystique. Rogue. Mystique as Rogue. Mystique trying to look like Jean Grey. Mystique is Gambit, Mystique is Rogue, and Rogue.
God! See, heard it again. Get him out of here.
No, I didn't do
get
shit.
him. Fucking get him.
Oh, yo, we're just
Get
gonna
him.
watch the video. Let's just watch the video. Let's just watch it. Okay.
This is somehow the
Yeah.
X-Men's fault. In terms of actual upgrades, it's really hard to say that Larry improved on much. They hit just as hard, they have similar specs, and they're
Yep.
just as fast. They're still able to take on the
I thought he
X-Men
was about to
head
say
on
they're
and
just
take
as
them
racist.
down.
Yeah,
Granted,
literally.
this is a team of X-Men whose
That's what I thought,
second
too.
biggest enemy after the Brotherhood is puberty. So taking down a
Oh.
bunch of superpowered kids isn't the own you think it is, but a 16-year-old can just as easily outsmart them as shown by Cyclops, telling them Mark II that if they want to protect humans from mutants, well, by that logic,
What the fuck is this suit he's wearing? Why is Cyclops wearing Quicksilver's suit?
Shit ass.
That shit looks terrible.
just fighting the X-Men won't do. Now you see, if mutations come from radiation, you might as well go to the source of the radiation, the sun. And they all flew into the sun.
my God.
The fact that the Sentinels
Dumbass.
program managed to get past the second phase is genuinely astonishing, because what the hell? Okay, I promise we'll
Dummies
get to the
hell.
actual glazing soon. It's just really hard to actually do that when the first couple of phases of Sentinels might be the worst money sink of all time, which doesn't help my case when the very next phase was a downgrade from the previous models. As soon after the death of Bolivar and Larry Trask, the plans for the Sentinels would fall into the hands of the United States, would employ Dr. Stephen Lang, who was more happy to take a stab at the whole annihilate all mutants idea. Now, due to the fact that Dr. Lane was working with incomplete notes on account of the first project exploding and the second flying directly into the sun, there wasn't much to go off of. But he did make do, and the results would be comparable to previous incarnations. As well, we would actually have an interesting development with the Sentinels, as for the first time, they were able to disguise themselves, as a handful of them took up the appearance of the original X-Men and was so
Oh,
good at
shit.
mimicking the others,
Huh.
they even took after their powers. It did mean that while
Oh,
they
wow.
lost access to their standard Sentinel equipment in exchange for their disguises, they were also the basis and would lead to what would come next: the Prime Sentinels. Jump ahead to the 90s, because at that point you can kind of pick up what's happening. A new batch of Sentinels
Why does it have hair?
Wait, what the fuck?
They're evolving. These
More
motherfuckers
human,
are
like-
evolving.
Now, mind you, they're robots with faces. We have already discussed. Why
And
the
they're
fuck would you
mogging.
put hair on them? Hey, bro, Chads.
Genuine Chatinals, bro.
I'm going to jump ahead to the 90s, because at that point you can kind of pick up what's happening.
Yeah.
A new batch of Sentinels is printed. Outside of a few changes, they're not that different. They either turn on their creator or are defeated before that happens. Insert speech about how one state can lead to their own destruction. You get the point. Now, when it gets
Yep.
interesting is with the introduction of the Prime Sentinels. The Prime Sentinels are introduced after the villain Bastion infiltrates the United States government and created a rogue faction within it. The aptly named Operation
Mogging.
Zero Tolerance would usher in the new era of Sentinels with the goal of yet again destroying all mutants, though through more sinister means. No, not you. Go shoot. I've talked about you enough. You were only in 97. Go away. While normally when you hear the name Sentinel, you think of a giant robot flying through the sky, armed head to toe, and with an intimidating presence. The
Yep.
Prime Sentinels were a lot smaller, as they weren't just completely autonomous robots.
What?
No. The Prime Sentinels were a virus. A virus that infected
What?
regular people, typically through innocuous means.
Oh!
A free vacation, slip
Oh! So
That's
normal
actually
humans
insane.
just get turned into robots?
And that's
Oh,
actually insane.
That's terrible. And they want to hate the X-Men. They want to hate on the mutants. They want to
Yeah,
hate
right.
on. They want to hate people who are just born with their powers, just trying to live. Fuck the people in the Marvel universe. Fuck them.
It's fucking idiots.
infected regular people, typically through innocuous means. A free vacation, slip through medicine, or even a classic kidnapping. People without their knowledge were made into sleeper agents, patiently waiting of a mutant in proximity, and as if a switch flipped in their head, would attack said mutant relentlessly. Neighbors, co-workers, and even family members weren't safe. Anyone could be infected by the Prime Sentinels. I think the reason why this is all more terrifying is the underlying paranoia it would cause. With previous incarnations
you
of
don't
Sentinels,
know.
at least you knew when the giant murderous robot was outside your house. It's kind of hard to miss something so big. While with Prime Sentinels, Sentinels. There was no way of knowing who was
No,
infected.
bruh.
You could be
You
walking
could
by
be a
someone on the
Sentinel.
street and before
I could be
you
a
knew it,
Sentinel.
have someone open fire
We're
on you.
all
Their most
Sentinels.
popular incarnation would be definitely X-Men 97, and as you can see, they're absolutely horrifying to go up against. A mob of cybernetic zombies rushing at you, wanting nothing more to rip you limb for limb. Though, in the comics, the Prime Sentinels were more typical. Instead of being mindless zombies, they were more akin to pint-sized Sentinels having the same abilities. Though, speaking of 97, that leads me to... Now the Mark I
no,
weren't
dude, I know
the
what we're
only
about to get
Sentinels
into.
that Boulevard Trask critted. Though short-lived, enough time passed for an offshoot to be developed in the deep jungles of the Amazons.
Yep.
Unlike the Mark I's, the Wild Sentinels Master Mold made models designed to scavenge and constantly adapt and change within their environment. No longer humanoid, the Wild Sentinels were more akin to giant insectoids. During the
Oh
E for
my
Extinction
God,
storyline, Cassandra
terrifying.
Nova reached out to one of Trask's descendants, a mild-mannered dentist who had no clue what his family members were getting up to, which I'm sorry must be terrible to go through. Your filling appointment was cancelled because your dentist was kidnapped to the Amazon because his uncle was an anti-mutant robotist. Genosha would soon be steamrolled by these
I did
wild
not like
Sentinels.
that.
Skyscrapers
Yeah, that
would
was
collapse,
gross.
That was
streets
fucking
torn
nasty.
asunder, and the millions would fall victim to these beasts. 16 million in total to be precise.
Oh,
now, despite an
Jesus.
impressive
Oh my
showing, the
God.
Wild Sentinels would make few appearances. Their next appearance would be in Astonishing X-Men by Josh
Oh,
Whedon and John Cassaday,
is
where the
that?
villain Danger sends a Wild Sentinel towards Charles Xavier. Now, due to Danger's influence, the once mindless drone, lacking the advanced tactical
Oh
intelligence
my
compared to
God.
standard
Nah, if I'm an X-Men,
That is
bro, just let me die. Let me fucking
Oh
die.
God, that looks terrifying.
Let me
I'm
die.
not fighting that.
Let me die.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
Don't even worry. I'll
What
make it.
X-Men is defeating that?
That shit looks.
You're-
like. What do you even do there?
You're just fucking
influence
dead.
the once mindless
You're just
drone,
dead.
lacking the advanced tactical intelligence compared to a standard unit, has been given consciousness, but Kitty Pryde managed to crack into his mind and unlock the memory of the Genosha massacre. The Wild Sentinel was so disgusted with itself, the concept of 16 million deaths, his minds wouldn't be able to comprehend the weight, but for the Wild Sentinel, he could. It would only return to not harm mutants, but to protect them. When the Krun shot their
Hey.
healing bullet and feared that the mutant Colossus would
W
one day
Sentinel
come and
for
destroy their
leaving
planet,
Earth.
when it seemed everything
Right.
was lost, the Wild Sentinel makes a conscious choice to ram itself into it. Its final moments were not of fear, but hope. Hope that despite all the horrible crimes committed, it can at least die in atonement for those thoughtless sins. Tragically, the bullet cuts through the Sentinel with
Oh
ease.
my God.
Jesus.
I need a minute. I just wanted to talk about robots, man. Now,
At
I
least you
kind of lied to
tried.
you.
Yep,
I didn't
they
really want
tried.
to talk about Sentinels today. Well, okay, I did, but really, I think a better title for this video would be Nimrod is the most terrifying guy I have laid my eyes on, featured a brief history on the Sentinels, because oh my god, to say that he is deadly is an understatement. To give you an idea, have you ever played a fighting game, and no matter what you do, your opponent has the right answer to anything you throw out? That's what
Yep.
anyone who's unlucky enough to fight against Nimrod. I didn't even take this paycheck because it was a lot of money. It was like 20 bucks. It was because Nimrod was outside my door delivering it. Heralding from Earth 811, the same Earth as Rachel Summers and the Earth from Days of Future Past. A bad future for
shit.
the X-Men. The United
Yep.
States would reactivate the Sentinel program and once and for all wipe out the mutant menace. The Sentinels thought the best course of action was to, of course, to take over the entire country. Mutants are surprisingly on the brink of extinction, forced into slavery to serve the Sentinels, marked with
That
the
is
letter
insane.
M. Yeah,
terrible,
it was
dude.
pretty bleak. The remaining
that's-
X-Men of Earth
Hold on,
811
let's pause
was
this.
able.
That is a spitting.
Spitting image
Yeah,
of
it's-
World War II?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. This
Yep.
is This is that.
Shit was definitely made during that time, or at least after that time.
Or after. It's heavily inspired.
Yeah.
Gotta be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Just so we're both locked.
Yeah,
and
we're both
Ah,
locked.
it was pretty bleak.
We're
Okay.
both locked.
The remaining X-Men of Earth 811 was able to warn the current day X-Men through the powers of telepathy and were able to prevent the future from happening. Basically, think of the Android saga, but future Trunks was instead of butch lesbian with the powers of God, which
Okay, bet.
I'm not complaining. If the Sentinels were like the androids in the Cell saga, being the cause of the bad
yeah.
future, Nimrod
Eh.
would be their equivalent to Cell from Dragon Ball. Both their logical endpoints. Something, if it were to ever come to fruition, would be devastating. The only silver lining would be the world was already lost to the Sentinels, so the creation of Nimrod would only make things slightly worse. It took both the X-Men and the Hellfire Club to team up to actually take him down, though it was no easy feat. What makes Nimrod unique from previous Sentinels is that he is a perfect counter to every mutant, as he's not able to just detect them, but also analyze them, allowing him to create specific countermeasures. Because of his mastery of his own molecular structure, he was able to completely regenerate and teleport, and that's even if you're able to get close enough to get a hit in, let alone leave a dent. Wow, this guy really is Cell. Thankfully, this is only a relic of a future long gone.
So do you think if this came out before the Cell saga, right?
Yeah.
So then Cell was made.
Cell was inspired by this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Thankfully, this is only a relic of a future long gone and avoided. If Nimrod was allowed to be created in the present, it would mean the end of during the Krakoa era, or how I so eloquently put it in my last video, Krakow. But what was revealed is that Moira was not just a mutant ally, rather she was a mutant herself, though it took an entire lifetime to realize that, as after living a long fulfilled normal life, she drew her last breath. Her vision goes from a blur to pitch black, and then she wakes up. Not as an elderly woman, but rather a newborn. Stranger yet, she maintained all her memories from her previous life. She's still the same person, and time hasn't passed. In fact, it was quite the opposite. Time was reset. Her mutation abilities can only be triggered upon death, and every time she did, her mutation would cause the world to reset. Both intrigued and horrified by this concept, Moira would spend the next few lifetimes studying her mutations and mutants in general. Some would be quite short, as her second life, her plane crashed while trying to meet Xavier for the first time. To well over 1,000 years. But during her first handful of lives, she made a horrific realization. A world of Sentinel dominance? Worse yet, Nimrod was not a question of if, rather when. You see, in multiple Moira's life cycles, she saw firsthand that the Sentinels would inevitably win, overcome the X-Men, and take over the world. Even fighting side by side with Apocalypse. They would.
That's how you know that shit bad. That's how you know that shit's bad. When you're fighting with Apocalypse.
Jesus, bro.
That's how you know this shit is bad.
Witness that shit multiple times is like, you know it's gonna happen. You just don't know.
That's dead ass worse than immortality. I'm not gonna lie.
Nah, for real. Because it's like, you know you're gonna die and then it's gonna happen again. It's like you don't just live through it. You die and it happens over and over and over. Holy shit.
Jesus
X-Men and take over the world. Even fighting side by side with Apocalypse, they would be overpowered and would soon fall. Worse yet, by fighting the Sentinels, they weren't obstructing their evolution, they were actually expediting it. Now, Nimrod wasn't just regulated to a bad future, something that was only a product of an already Sentinel-dominated world. But now, after recontextualizing every single fight with the Sentinels, they weren't stopping this future from happening, they were bringing it to the present as the dawn of Nimrod would draw closer and closer. Now, obviously, like any rational person, Moira and the rest of Krakoa collectively shat themselves at the mere thought of Nimrod was a possibility and made it their personal mission to stop any and all innovation in AI. You could say a lot of things about Krakoa, but hey, at least they didn't have AI slop.
Yeah,
now,
literally, dude.
I bring all of this up because of one person, Karima, who was one of the many victims from Operation Zero Tolerance, where she was kidnapped and forced to be Omega Sentinel, another mutant hunting sleeper agent, though she would be rehabilitated to fight against her Prime Sentinel programming and would become an ally to the X-Men, but she was never able to tap into her full Sentinel abilities as her Omega Sentinel form was overwritten, giving back a majority of her humanity. That would change as when the AI god Enigma from the far future sent a copy of her consciousness directly into Karima, who fully assimilated into Omega Sentinel, killing her and replacing her with this far future
Good
version of
lord.
herself.
That's
Why did
wonderful.
he do this? Because this would essentially send all the information on to create the mother mold in Nimrod after centuries of advancements to the present, with Karima's body taken over, and with this new directive would go on to found the organization Orcus, and after manipulating Mystique and Destiny to shoot Moira with a depowering gun, made it so the timeline where the knowledge of Nimrod now locked in only meant one thing. Nimrod was not in the future. He is in the present, and we see everything come together in the Hellfire Gala.
Jesus.
What was seemingly a beautiful celebration of mutant culture, Krakoa survived another year and was seemingly on the verge of prosperity.
Hello, Jean Grey and Emma Frost.
Oh my
Holy
god,
shit.
Emma back. Yeah.
Look, is Cyclops doing blackface?
I didn't even realize that was him. Oh my god. The higher the pressure, the more
Bro,
dazzling
look.
the diamonds. Jesus Christ.
Oh my god, Emma.
Ah.
Oh my god. Hey guys.
In the mutant culture, Krakoa survived another year and was seemingly
Oh,
on the
shit,
verge
that's
of
Scarlet up there?
prosperity. If it could survive everything that
Oh,
came before,
Jesus.
the future was guaranteed. A new day and a new team was on the horizon. A first for many and a
Juggernaut?
new day for Krakoa, though
I'm the
fate
Juggernaut,
had different
bitch.
plans. Oh, this might be one of the most harrowing
He did
scenes
it.
in all of the X-Men's history. Now, typically, when a Sentinel shows up, as long as you aren't just introduced, it's pretty safe to say that you'll get out with a couple of scratches, while the random no-name mutant takes a blow to make them look all the more scary. But when Nimrod makes his appearance, he crushes Jubilee's skull with ease, tears through 4 of the newly appointed X-Men, and when the Juggernaut tries to stop him, killed him instantly, leaving his head nothing but a stump, and he would drag Juggernaut's lifeless body. Iceman, who's an Omega level mutant, tried to stand up to Nimrod, giving it his all, but in the span of a single page, Nimrod analyzed his mutation, discovered his weakness, created it, and shot him with it, which was
my
a
God.
cellular napalm that would overpower Bobby's Sub-Zero powers, melting him from the inside out. From just a
Jesus.
singular encounter, Xavier would surrender immediately, mind controlling all of the remaining inhabitants on Krakoa to get them off the island, and would break down in tears, saying that it's all over and the X-Men were dead, groveling at his feet, and then would join Orcus, as that was the only chance that mutants had a chance of survival in his mind. God, Xavier sucks just as much as Nimrod is terrifying. The worst part is that this man is doing it with a smile on his face. He's making quips while he's just casually ripping and tearing the X-Men.
Sorry to
I think
drop
why
you,
this
it's
works so
crazy.
well is that it almost feels wrong. That something was taken away from not just us within the story, but also outside of it. That we saw the glimpse of a bright future that was ripped right out of our hands from nowhere. Where we had the start of so many story arcs, Miss Marvel, and a whole new X-Men team, it really felt like a horrific future coming to clash with the present day, and there was nothing that could be done about it, and it's just so traumatizing to see unfold. It took the entirety of the remaining mutants and X-Men to actually defeat Nimrod.
Mind you, Avengers and Fantastic Four are nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
Just nowhere to be found.
They said, fuck, it ain't our story.
It's not our story, so we ain't go help,
Leading to
bruh.
one of my favorite Scott and Storm moments. Any last words? She won't let you kill me. This is more prattle about your dead wife. No. Allow me to introduce you to Storm. A billion calculations, only to end up being wrong about the last X-Men standing. It's the most humanity Nimrod could ever achieve. Man, we really had something here. But by and large, those have been the Sentinels. They're pretty neat, aren't they? Going from stumbling robots, the sleeper ancients, and the scariest dude.
Nimrod
Yeah.
is basically just a Sentinel. Oh my god.
Literally.
Yo, if you're
Jesus.
a mutant in the Marvel Universe, do not. You better hope that you look like a normal human. You better hope that you don't
Literally.
look like a mutant. You better just pray to God that...
You gotta
can
keep
just
them
be-
powers on lock.
Yeah. Keep that shit a secret, or just say you fucking fell into a vat of radiation
it's something.
waste.
Don't ever say you was born with that
Don't
shit.
ever say you were born with powers in the Marvel Universe.
Crazy.
That is gonna be us watching to see how scary the Sentinels are. If you guys like videos like this, like, comment, subscribe. Go subscribe to
Wow.
SimbaThaGod and follow both of us on all platforms. Peace.